Hey everyone, I'm currently just doing, the first, part of the video currently. I tried turning, the modes down on all my fans so that, the background noise you hear isn't, as severe in this video. It's just a little adjustment I'm trying to do, for the future to, make things better for, the quality of the storytelling. So, I hope you guys appreciate that. And also, as I'm recording this first half, I have this big list of stories that I want to tell soon for the next couple of uploads are designated to be, but I don't know which one of them I'm gonna do. But I'm gonna look at all the options I have because I've already created the thumbnails for each and every single one of those. And then I'm going to decide which one seems like a fun one for today's upload, and then I'm going to go do that. But first, I'm going to go smack the cart, roll the intro, and then I'll be right back to tell the story. All right. And I am back. I just got done making my fucking dispensary pen blink, which was crazy. It's one of those fucking, I think it's called West Side Kier. I don't remember. I'm gonna have to look at it here in a bit. But I know what story I'm telling today, and damn, that is fucking crazy. I have been waiting to tell this one for such a long time. You guys already obviously know what story this is, but going into this video, I didn't. But you guys read the title and the thumbnail, and yeah, let's get to it. So this fucking dumbass story that I'm about to tell you takes place in my sophomore year, and I was going through kind of a bit of a time, and I wanted to get these highs that were really cheap but also really, really fucking amazing. Now let me go ahead and just tell you real quick that anything I'm talking about in this video, Xanax or benzos or Valium or anything to that effect or anything like that, that's just not good. Pills in general are just not good. I'm asking that you do not recreate or reenact anything I talk about, because I'm not just saying this so that YouTube doesn't smite me. I genuinely do think this is stupid, and I have been around people who have suffered nightmares from it that I don't even feel comfortable even talking about. Yeah, I straight up just gulped. That's why I fucking paused. Oh my god. But yeah, it really is bad shit. Just watch this if maybe it was relatable and you've stopped, or you're just wanting some entertainment, because it is funny. The story is really fucking funny. It's just, don't take any inspiration. But that's out of the way now. On to the story. So a really, really cheap drug that produced a really fucking amazing high for me was Xanax. And Xanax was really fucking cheap, and whenever I would buy this in bulk, it would just be even cheaper. I could get fucking 25 bars for fucking $80, 95 bucks, something like that. And my guy would just give me the biggest best deals ever, and he would just intentionally just throw in a bunch of extra shits for me. And these weren't Flu Alp or Fent laced. These were fucking script alprazolam bars. These were really, really fucking good. That doesn't mean it's any less dangerous though. People overdose from this shit all the time. People get hooked to these shits all the time. But I was yo dude, I have 75 bucks. How many bars are you trying to give me? And he was shit, dude, you have 75 bucks? Here, I'm gonna pull up to our usual spot, and you're gonna come, and then I'll give you 14. I was damn, that sounds fucking good. And then when I come over, he gives me the fucking, it was a little bit bigger than a dime bag. I don't really know what to call it, but I take it, and let me tell you, this fucking bag was feeling a little bumpy. And when I opened it, inside, and actually count them out, he did not give me 14. And I'm not saying he scammed me. I'm saying instead of giving me 14, he gave me 16, and then he gave me 2 broken halves. which is pretty much just another one, so basically 17, but it was broken into these two halves for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it was accidentally broken, I'm not sure. But so, like, I was using these, like, throughout the weekend and kind of just, like, you know, feeling them out and stuff. But then I decided one day I was gonna, like, before the bus, do 2.5 bars as a dose. And this is what happens, okay? So basically I just go to the little baggie, I open it up, I dump out 3 bars, I break 1 in half, I put 1 broken half back in the bag, and then I just do all of them at once, swallow down with water quickly. I tasted them fuckers, they tasted completely terrible and I hated it, but as soon as I got them down, got some more water down, I felt completely fine. And then I'm just walking to the bus stop like nothing ever happened. And by the way, I don't have anything on me other than like what's in my stomach. I'm like completely fine other than that. And I'm just walking the bus stop, you know, like completely good. And fucking as soon as like I see the bus pull up, that's like as soon as like I felt like my muscles kind of starting to like slowly like kind of just slow down, and like my brain kind of just like, and my emotional IQ went to like 0, and I start getting on the bus like walking and like kind of like stumbling as I walk, and like when I reach out to like scan my bus pass, like my hand is like moving really, really slow, and then I scan it, and then I like go and I'm walking and I sit down on the bus, and then like I start listening to some music, which my music taste is like not really what a lot of people listen to. It's like kind of like the like more like metalcore-ish stuff. But yeah, so I was listening to that, and like I'm just looking out the bus window, and I'm like looking at the seat in front of me, and I'm just fucking nodding off like for only like 1 second at a time, and my eyes feel all like tingly, and they feel like really, really nice when I like blink. I don't know how to describe the feeling. It's just like you get this like it's like a feeling where like your brain can like breathe, and you're just like, you're so airy and stupid. I don't know. Like for me, the way I can explain the feeling that Xanax gives you is it's kind of like just alcohol in pill form, but like it gets you like drunker than alcohol gets you. You know, the high from Xanax is very much like being drunk, just like way more special to my experience. But I get off the bus and, you know, I'm walking into school, and, you know, one of the first things I see is just like a couple of my friends, and like they're just like, hey Jackson, you know, like, what are you doing today? And then like I kind of tell them like what I just did, and I was like, yo guys, I literally took 2.5 bars before going to school, like, am I fucked? And they're like, bro, you know, you're fucking kind of dumb and shit like that. And they're asking me how many milligrams they were, and I didn't even know like what milligrams Xanax was, because it was just some white ladders. But like if I were to guess like what milligram, it low-key kind of just felt like 1 milligram. So, you know, I don't know, I don't really do Xans like other people do. Like I'm not really I've never really been a bar-tard or a Xan addict or whatever you want to call it. But, you know, all this chatting with my friends, you know, gets cut short. And, you know, last thing I probably heard from them was, you know, like, good luck, or, you know, Jackson, you're a dumbass, something like that. But, I just get on walking to PE because that was my first period, you know. And I don't even really remember so much of what happened. All I remember is that I had a very, very easy time in that period, probably just because I was really, 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 like, fucking lit off of those bars. And I wasn't really exactly sleepy at this moment. I just felt completely, like, airy and sedated, which I thought was really nice. You know, the one thing that kind of sucked with this, though, is that, you know how I said, like, at the beginning of this story, I didn't bring anything to school. like, the closest thing I did to bringing something was the Xanax that I took before coming to school, but that's not really taking something. That's more taking something and then going to school, not taking something to school. So I didn't have, like, a pen or anything to, like, chief in the bathroom, which was a really nice tradition I'd like to do, like, in and out of PE during sophomore years. I'd always like to, first period PE, I'd go in and chief the pen, which, I'm getting carried away because, this cart has got me fried, and I'm kind of just thinking about concentrates right now, but I gotta tell this story. I have to go straight to second period, pretty much. I don't remember anything eventful that happened during the break, so I just remember literally going into second period, which was my English class, putting my head down, and just fucking, like, knocking out and sleeping just the whole entire time. And I mean, like, I was fucking out. I was done. But conveniently, I woke up just so I could hear the third period bell ring. And oh boy, because here's where the story actually gets kind of embarrassing, because I didn't put this in the thumbnail, but I shit you not, my favorite teacher, who, I might continue to talk about on this channel, I'll just call him Mr. Madison. My favorite teacher, Mr. Madison, literally ended up snitching on me later on in this story, which we'll get to. Oh man, y'all see why I was, waiting to tell this. Oh my god. But so, I go into my third period class, which is chemistry, I'm pretty good at chemistry. I don't really care for the class. I, especially in sophomore year, didn't care for this class. But, what do I want to call my, I'm trying to think about what I want to call my chemistry teacher for this video. Fuck it, we're calling him Mr. Paul. So, my chemistry teacher, Mr. Paul, he was a super, super, super fucking chill guy. He would, like, let us kind of just do, like, whatever. We didn't really have to, like, sign out to use the bathroom, so I could just go and then chief in the bathroom, and that'd be really, really fun. And really, like, a tradition I would also really like. Sophomore year was just pretty great with all that kind of stuff, I will say. But I'm in Mr. Paul's class, and I'm feeling like I thought that I was waking up after literally, like, completely knocking out in my second period. But third period was even worse, because this is where, like, the Xanax started fucking peaking. Like, it was peaking. It was at full effect. And so I just remember that I, like, my eyes were feeling heavy. They wanted to be closed up, and I closed them, and I'm knocked out. And, I don't really remember a lot after that. I don't know, like, if I started drooling on myself like I usually do, or, like, if I don't know what happened. But what I do know is that the bell rang, and then it was essentially, think of this the same way as, like, how second period went with English. That was fine. I just woke up, the bell rang, and I went to my next class. This was no different. I got up, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to fourth period. That's Mr. Madison. He's chill. Probably shouldn't sleep in his class, though. And then after that, I have lunch, then fifth period, then sixth period, and then I leave. And then, so, I get into Mr. Madison's class pretty quickly after the bell rang, because those two classrooms are, like, right next to each other. But as soon as I go into the classroom, he goes, "Jackson, where were you?" And I'm like, I was in fucking Mr. Paul's class for third period, and now I'm here. And he's like, "Jackson, are you high?" And keep in mind, so my school does this thing where our lunch periods are split up into two different parts. It's called A lunch, and then there's B lunch. I had B lunch. But so pretty much, here's the way it would go. After third period, which was in my chemistry, the second class I passed out in, chemistry is my third period. Since I have B lunch, after third period, I go to fourth period, and then I go to what's called B lunch. But the A lunch kids, after third period, they go straight to lunch, and then they come back from lunch, they have their fourth period, and then the B lunch kids will go to. So what actually ended up happening is I didn't like go to sleep in fucking third period and then sleep through third period. I went to sleep in third period and slept for third and fourth period, so 2 whole periods, which we'll get into more of this in a second. But so he kind of tries to explain this to me, and he's like, Jackson, just go ahead and sit down for me. So I sit down in my chair, and keep in mind the classroom's empty because everyone who I guess would have been in class is now at lunch. It's B lunch, so I guess I should have been at lunch and not in his fucking classroom. Yeah, but I didn't even look at my phone to see the time, so you can't even really blame my bitch ass. But so Mr. Madison, gets on the phone, and then a few minutes go by of this fucking security guard comes in, and it's one that I've had to deal with before. One of my overall least favorite security guards, for that whole matter, because I've had so many run-ins with this guy. And then he's like, all right, Jackson, go with him. And then I'm just like, okay, whatever. And I'm going with this guy, and, I'll just, I'm not going to give this security guard a name. We're just going to call him the fucking security guard. But, he takes me into the, 100 classrooms office. He, does a whole search of me. Good thing I didn't bring anything, and good thing he didn't find anything. Which, was very nice. But then they also brought me in, the actual office itself for, a fucking sobriety test or whatever. But so there's a bunch of different of these school staff people who are here to deal with all these types of situations and whatever shit. And I'm kind of just arguing back with them, being a smart ass, doing all of the usual shit I usually do whenever I'm in a situation or whatever, not always the best thing to do, but it ended out going just fine because I didn't have to deal with anything. And what ended up happening is they did call my mom, but they were like, we think something went up with him, we just can't prove anything. And so literally one of the most embarrassing things ever proceeds to happen, because my mom rips through the school and fucking she grabs me, and she was like, oh my fucking god, I'm so pissed off at you. I can't fucking just work from home in peace and not have to worry about you doing anything. And she's just fucking walking me out of the school, bro. And that shit, you bet there was people looking at me, and she's just like, oh my fucking god, I'm getting all sick of you doing these drugs and shit like that. And she was talking about in the car that she's gonna give me a test when we get home, which would suck because I would have definitely tested positive for benzos. But on from that, I was talking to her in the car, and I was pretty much telling her what happened, where I was like, I don't know why they did all this shit. I literally just fell asleep in class and ended up oversleeping, and then I tried to go to my next class, which my teacher thought I was high for some reason, and she was like, you don't seem high, so, I guess we'll skip out on the test. So I was in my head, I'm okay, perfect. But we get home, and I'm just man, immediately, as soon as I get home, I'm thinking just oh man, I need to tell a story about this, I just don't know when. And then, you bet that as soon as I got back, I just did more Xanax and, nodded off into a deep, deep nap that lasted for probably over 16 hours. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this one. This one, in my opinion, was really, really, really good. I've been holding on to this one. I hope this story flies high. Out of very many of my stories, I hope this will be, a good one for y'all. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed, and, please stay tuned for more. And, yeah, I'll see y'all in the next one.